Hello, today I want to talk to you a little bit about a health issue I think is very overlooked and something most people are very uneducated about, and this is hearing loss and noise pollution and how it affects us. So, to begin, I will start by explaining to you how we hear. So, sound is vibrating air molecules inside a space. And when we hear, these sound waves or these vibrations, they enter the ear canal and they are felt by the eardrum, and that causes it to vibrate. And this vibrating motion on the eardrum transfers to these tiny bones we have inside our ears, and that energy goes into what is called the cochlea. The cochlea is a spiral structure that is inside our ears, and it contains these receptors or tiny hair cells, um, which take this vibrating energy and it turns them into electrical impulses which go down the sensory nerves and reaches the brain for us to hear. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because these hair cells are very fragile and we only have a certain amount of them, and because they're fragile they can break off, and when they break off you never get them back and they don't grow back. So this is main reason why hearing loss happens. Okay, so that is a little bit worrying, and I'm not sure if most people are aware of this or not, but hopefully it might make you consider this a bit more. So I was doing a little bit of research and I found a paper that was written by a man named Julian Treasure. This man is from the UK and he's done a lot of research about this health issue, and he spends a lot of time making people more aware of this. He's done a few TED talks which are very interesting, and this paper is very thoroughly researched. So I'm going to read for you just a little bit about how noise affects us. So it says, noise is a natural byproduct of economic growth. Our roads and skies are noisier than at any time in our history, and with relatively few checks on its growth, traffic noise has reached levels where it is dangerous to our health. According to the World Health Organization, 40% of Europe's population is exposed to noise levels in excess of 55 decibels. I think that 55 decibels is equivalent to normal speaking level. So it is like listening to constant spoken dialogue. And it says a level at which disturbed sleep, raised blood pressure, and even increased incident of heart disease have been noticed. And you can see why it would cause disturbed sleep or raise blood pressure, because it is as loud as human speech and constant. So it says that in large cities the problem is even more pressing. The United Kingdom's government environmental protection watchdog found recently that around 1 in 7 residents of the British cities of London, Manchester, and Southampton were exposed continually to traffic noise above 65 decibels. Now, 65 decibels is equivalent to human laughter. Further, some 3% of cardiac arrest cases in Germany each year have been explicitly linked to road traffic noise. By adding them together, the cost of lost work days, treatment of noise-related health conditions, and productivity impact of noise, the European Commission estimates the social cost of the road traffic noises to be between 30 to 46 billion euros, or 39 to 60 billion US dollars per year, or 0.4% of the region's GDP. So you can see that this is a very important issue, and yes, most people don't know about these things. Julian Treasure has also done some very thorough research about acoustic spaces and how that affects us. He found that certain reverberation time in the acoustic of the room can lead to what is known as the Lombard effect or the Lombard reflex. And this is basically where we have the tendency to speak louder when we hear something that is louder than us, basically. And it's done all involuntarily, and it's something that naturally happens, and it's shown to cause problems in people's voice. For example, teachers Uh, he says that there was a reported case where a lady in Britain had to be paid, I think, £15,000 for damage to her voice due to having to speak loud for people to hear. And Julian Treasure thinks that the reverberation and acoustics of this room have caused this problem, and continues to do so. So yeah, it's, you wouldn't think. And now I'm going to move on to another thing, which is noise induced hearing loss, also with the acronym NIHL. Now this is a disorder where people gradually lose their hearing due to high exposure to prolonged exposure to high intensity sound. So there are many things that can cause this. As mentioned, there's so much noise pollution in the world, and also certain jobs can cause this, such as construction workers who have to be in loud situations for long periods of time, or even if you work in an area that has a lot of construction, long periods of time being exposed to this sound will cause you to lose your hearing over time. And yeah, it is something that is also increasing, especially in teenagers, and that is because to hide from these sounds, or a way for us to ignore all the noise pollution in the world, we use headphones. And everyone now has an iPod, or even the iPhone, or just any phone which has radio or their personal music choice, and they tend to listen at very high volumes to hide from this noise that we have. And obviously that will lead to hearing loss over time, and it's something which is very common in teenagers.